Welcome back, Connor.
That's a very long welcome. And in case you didn't realise, this is, oh my God,
Time. Come on.
this is our 100th
It's a party going
episode.
on now.
Oh yeah, and if you
Can we have drum rolls? Can we have bloody tinsel?
Keehlan will do drum
Can we
rolls.
have
fireworks going off. If you're only listening,
100?
if you're only listening to us and you haven't
This is the
joined
first
our,
episode you've ever heard.
but as in not watching us, if you haven't watched us on Spotify or our growing subscriber list on YouTube, you will see that Jac and I are both in our lime green, keeping it real outfit.
We're on brand, Ral.
We are so on brand.
So on
So
brand.
on brand. So I've pulled out the lime green jacket
Pulled out the big stops.
for the 100th episode. So no, seriously,
Can we just take a moment?
let's take a moment.
100 episodes. So we've been going for a couple of years now,
We have.
and we both decided we'd have a crack at doing a podcast. We had no
Yeah.
idea whether we'd
No,
be any good or whether we'd like it
I know
or-
I've joked about this before, but I think I said to you, so what do we do after 10 episodes when we run out of stuff to talk about?
I knew for a
you
fact we
never
would never
doubted.
run out of things to talk about. We could talk underwater. And because of the nature of our respective careers, we've got access to incredible people.
Yep.
We're very curious anyway, and we're learning all the time that we would always have topics. And
Yes.
that's and topics of interest to people who follow us, our little niche, our keepers.
Yeah.
So I reckon we're good for another couple more years.
Oh, a couple hundred?
A couple of hundred?
What's the next
Decade?
I was going to say, I can't talk.
I don't know.
Benchmark we want to hit. Do we want to go 150, 200? Well, let's just go 1,000.
Oh, just keep going.
Keelan's laughing.
What
If we do one
I'd
a
like
week,
Keehlan to name his children after us.
yeah,
So we'd have to be around for a while.
yeah.
Don't know whether Phoebe knows this, but anyway.
If we did 1,000 episodes,
Yeah.
that's probably going to take us
It's in about another 6
Another
years.
18.
eh?
No.
Oh, no. Oh, no, 'cause you're only doing
2
40.
years. That's like another
Yeah.
18 years.
Right.
Shit, we'll be nearly 80.
Well, I'll be interested
You'll
to
be 80.
Thank you. Hopefully you're still strong. You'll be
yeah.
bench pressing me.
Yeah, we'll be 80. I reckon we'll be doing it. I reckon we'll still be doing it.
Oh, I wonder what the future of podcasting. I mean, is it a
that's true.
thing? you
That's
know?
very true.
I mean, the future with technology. What will it be, Keehlan? What's going to replace podcasting? Any ideas? Any thoughts? We
Don't
looked
throw him on the
stumped
spot. He's
him.
looking. You know that Queen song, Radio Gaga?
Yes.
I was listening to that a while ago, and the lyrics in that, right? It's because video is when video came out, like MTV and stuff like that, and they would go. It was the death
Of radio.
So TV video was the death of radio, and now like no one even watches TV.
No.
So
Well,
what
TV's,
kids don't like.
TV's coming back. TV's coming back, and I'll tell you why it's coming back. Or large screen formats coming back.
Oh yeah, like
because though Netflix have been sort of reducing the length of their shows because of TikTok and all this short form media, but because people are becoming more interested in being analog, getting rid of all the bloody slop and the brain rot, they are going back to longer form. So and I don't know about you, but I love a Netflix series or a streaming series or a movie, and I love going to the movies. So I'm not sure. TV
I guess
free to air.
Yeah, well, I mean, free to air TV. It's like you sort of go, you get on there and you go, there's nothing on there.
I don't watch it, so that's a good point. A bit of ABC, bit of
SBS,
bit of
food.
bit of
SBS Food is
SBS.
probably my favourite TV channel.
See, I would never watch anything like that.
No,
I like
because
eating it,
that
just
would
not
require
me to
you being
cook it.
interested in cooking.
All
which
right.
is not
Now we've
gonna
lost
happen.
track. Here we are
Oh, here we are.
celebrating 100 episodes.
Yes.
Keeping it real.
Yeah.
Keepers, thank you for
Yeah.
your patronage. We love it.
We do.
Ral, thank you for your co-hostingship.
Yeah.
that
Is
a
that
word?
the word? I don't know,
I
but
don't know.
thank you. Thank you
So
too,
what are
my
we
friend.
celebrating?
So-
100?
And this episode is about celebrating success.
Bloody
And we
important.
thought, it was by
We
no,
love a celebration.
no irony that we made this the topic of our 100th episode because, well, in seriousness, we think celebrating success,
It's
celebrating
really important.
progress is really important. And it's, like if you don't stop and smell the roses, then what the hell are we doing it for?
they say celebrating success is powerful. It's definitely not soft, yeah?
No.
And I don't think we do it enough. And particularly in Australia where there's this sort of tall poppy syndrome and you've got to be a bit under the radar and play it a bit cool.
It's sort of like, it
we're
was nothing. It was
saying
nothing.
Pig's ass to that.
Yeah.
Actually, there are plenty of milestones to celebrate. So why don't we talk about some of the important things?
Yeah.
And why celebrating success is so
why
important.
it is important.
So they say what gets celebrated gets repeated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it builds momentum. Celebration reinforces behaviours that you actually want more of. And that makes sense. Yeah. So think about that from a gym perspective or from a health and lifestyle perspective as much as a career.
I see that a lot when it comes to values. So both, if you think about values in your organisation, so the values and behaviours you want to see more of, and even like with your own children, for example.
Correct.
So when I do storytelling workshops, part of is like finding the stories, and sharing them. But I sort of say to people, I say to leaders, right, okay, so one of your values is challenging the status quo or customer service, whatever it is. Yes, share stories about that. But what you need to do is you need to spot people doing the right thing. So if one of your team has just shown great customer service, for example,
reinforce that behaviour.
And it doesn't have to be this big major thing. What you do, and I talk about this, is you go and you thank them.
Yeah,
I just heard about that you called a client back after hours. Really want to thank you because, so
and you do that publicly, like as men?
Yeah, absolutely. I really want to thank you because that's exactly the type of behaviour we want to encourage here. It's what we're about. And so, and especially if a really senior person. So sometimes I sort of say, if these stories get filtered up the organisation and then the CEO does that, and let's say it's a biggish organisation, and if you've had the CEO come and thank you for doing that, Jack, what is the first thing you do? There's two things you do after that. What's probably the immediate thing you do?
Give him a little kiss.
It's like not appropriate.
What is the first thing I do? I tell others.
Yes. So
that
you
the
go,
CEO
oh my God.
Can you? And
it's
what a good person.
literally.
She's awesome. Look, she's said to me, I'm great.
Yeah, probably they'll be going, oh, what was the CEO wanted? It was like, oh my God, last week when I did this thing, she came and helped me and, or thanked me for doing it. And so that then spreads the word. But then what the longer term thing you do and everyone else does, you look for more opportunities to do that. And so when it comes to organizational behaviors, it's like looking for opportunities to do that.
So it's called reinforcement, isn't it? If you want your children to behave well, then you reinforce what behavior you want and you acknowledge and thank and celebrate that.
I remember when Jess was really young, she was doing a race at, it was primary school, so she would have been like 8 or something like that. And she did the race and I sort of said, oh, how did you go? And she went, oh, I didn't do very well. I came sort of last, or whatever. She didn't come last, but she goes, but I was really proud of myself because at the end I passed a few people. And she goes, but I was so happy because her 2 friends came first and second.
Well.
And now her 2 friends were not in it. This is sports, so different houses. And she's gone, even though they're not in my house, I was so excited for them. And I remember saying, Jess, that is more important than you winning that race. The 2 things that I'm most proud about you is that you didn't give up and you did the best you could do. And then the other thing I'm really proud about you is that you celebrated your friend's success more than yours. And the point is, it might seem really simple or obvious, but as a little 8-year-old, she's walking away going, well, that's what makes mum and dad really proud. That's what I need to do more of.
Absolutely.
And they're going to do more of that.
And that's a good thing. And she's going to spread more joy doing it. So celebrating success, what I'm keen to understand is, and there's been this thing bandied about of recent times where, children get an award for turning up to school.
Yes.
Yeah. Jono over in the corner, wants to be acknowledged because, he's come into the office 4 times this week.
Yeah.
At what point do you sort of say, well, that's worthy of celebration, either in your own life or for somebody else, and that's just bullshit?
Well, a few things I would like to say to that.
How do you figure it out?
First of all, when kids in primary school, in little grades, you just got to encourage them. And it could be, little Johnny gets encouragement because it's the first time he didn't
Wet his pants,
right? Like, okay, fine. I can't believe we both said that at the same time.
We both know.
But that's, because that's progress.
Yeah.
So you might sit there and go, well, God, that's obvious, but it's progress, right? It's the first time he didn't, have a cry or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's important for when you're really young. If you're talking about adults, it's not like, well done, Jack, for turning
wetting
up
your
on
pants.
not wetting your pants.
We're starting to get to that, actually.
Well done for turning up on time. I mean, that sounds a little bit sarcastic. So it's not about that. Can I also say there's a lot of people in their like 40s, 50s that go, this young generation, they want an award for everything. Mm. And this young generation are going, well, we didn't do that. They didn't ask for it. Not our generation, but the generation, they decided that the 30 or 40-year-olds decided this was a good thing, not the 3 or 4-year-olds.
No.
So don't blame the 3 or 4-year-olds that are now 20 saying,
true.
your generation won an award for everything. It was like, hello, we didn't implement that process.
No, that expectation has been put on us. So if we go back to why is it important to celebrate success, and we just started with, well, first of all, repeated behaviours build momentum, right?
Yeah.
And so you've just confirmed that if Johnny doesn't wet his pants, then that's a good thing.
We want to do
more not wetting pants, Johnny. Or you were sort of saying, my question was, at what point do you sort of say, well, what's worthy of success, what's not? You're saying if it's going to mean somebody's going to continue to do something that's good or progress, then that's worthy of success.
Yes, absolutely.
And
It's encouraging the behaviour. Now, when we talk about celebrating success, it's not, getting a trophy and, balloons and everything. It could just be acknowledging thank you for doing
note
that.
Is a beautiful thing. How nice is it when you get something in the mail or a bunch of flowers or even an email saying, Jack, I just want to say thank you so much. I was delivering a whole lot of workshops for a great client, HBF in Perth, of which I was paid very well to do that, and I travelled there to do that. And right at the end, on our last one last year, they gave me the most beautiful gift.
Yeah.
That was on top of being paid to do it.
Yeah.
And I was so grateful and so appreciative. But they said this has been really successful, and so many of our team has gotten something out of it. So what that did, and I'll never forget that, it builds belief and confidence for me, but it also I think demonstrates their generosity and spirit of we really appreciate what you've done.
And it doesn't have to be a gift. It could literally be thanking someone for doing it.
Correct.
I've got an example. Christmas, I hosted Steve's family the Sunday before Christmas, so there was 18 people. There was lots of people, and I've spent 2 days preparing for all this cooking, and straight after lunch, Wes and Anthony, who are the son-in-laws. Well, or future son-in-laws, who knows?
No pressure. Alex,
they got up and did all the dishes,
good
right?
boys.
And it took them for ages.
I
They
bet.
were doing, and everyone's commenting and going, "Oh my God, you've got them well trained." It was like let's just pit them against each other. but the point is, afterwards, I thought this is actually behaviour I do want to encourage.
You want them to be doing this more,
and very genuinely, when everyone left, I just said thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference because. That nothing worse than when everyone leaves and you got an hour of dishes to do or the next morning. So I really, really appreciate it. Now, part of me is that genuinely I did, but I also know that's going to encourage the behaviour.
And that it wasn't just expected, it was really genuinely that was gratitude.
Hey, it's Ral here. I just wanted to jump in and interrupt the podcast to let you know that there's only 2 spots left at our Finders Keepers Immersion. So 22nd to the 24th of April in the lovely Milawa in Victoria, which is in the King Valley region. 4 masterclasses, 3 casual lunches, 2 morning mentoring walks, 1 amazing dinner, and 0 PowerPoint and stuffy training room. So if you're looking for a bit of a professional development, a bit of a reset and refocus for 2026, then check out the brochure, which is in the show links.
So if we know that it builds belief and confidence, it builds momentum, There's something else it can do as well, celebrating success. And I'm not specifically talking about dishes or wetting your pants. I'm talking about the stuff where you're doing things at work or you're doing things in your life that is perhaps more career or leadership or work focused. And that is that it can actually fight burnout, celebrating success. Hear me out. If you are always head down, ass up and on to the next thing, and I know this is the case in corporates, right, where you got to stay ahead of the game, you're racing, you've got targets, I remember leading teams that there was no time to stop, because we had to be competitive.
You reach a target and then the next target's
It's
looming.
already on you. And then you look back and go, well, actually, we didn't stop and say, gee, we did X. Gosh, we probably should have gone and had a team dinner for Y. Mm-hmm. And I think that's how, if you don't pause to celebrate, then you're not pausing to remind people that things are working, that we need to keep doing more of this, to your point.
Yeah. And you spoke about like burnout then. It was like celebrating. And the couple of previous episodes we've just done, I mean, last week we just did one on your future, your hands. And the final tip of part of that was, track progress.
That's exactly
right. And then we
right.
would say, well, celebrate that progress. It's also the episode we did about, like how you take control of your lifestyle and your career, and it's putting these and setting boundaries. Like, so setting boundaries, if you've set boundaries, we know how easy it is for them to creep. We spoke about that in that episode. So if you have gone a month where you've done the Pilates three times a week, it'd be like, okay. It could just be, I acknowledge that. I'm just going to.
I'm proud of myself.
You might just, you know what? It might just be sitting there and saying, you know what? I'm proud of myself for
I
that.
notice my Pilates team, if you've done 100 Pilates sessions over whatever time, you get acknowledged in a certificate and put up on Instagram.
Yeah.
So they're celebrating your success with the fact that you have, you've been able to do 100 Pilates sessions over whatever time frame.
Yeah.
So it absolutely does play off.
And
It
I
really
think
does.
celebrating those small wins along the way is really critical when you're talking about long-term goals.
Yeah. Well,
So,
you're right. Because what it does, it trains optimism and resilience. Yeah, celebration helps teams focus on progress, not just problems.
Yes, and I think that's what it is, celebrate progress. So again, previously I've talked about I want to be, strongest at 60.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait till I'm 60 to celebrate that.
No.
I mean,
No,
I
no,
will
no.
celebrate
No.
that when I'm 60,
No.
but I'm celebrating the small wins. Like,
Absolutely.
I've
The
increased
effort.
5 kilos on the barbell and
That's
stuff like that. I
worthy of that.
can actually touch my toes. Like, so it's celebrating all those.
The effort,
So-
the learning, the courage, the momentum.
The fact that I'm actually going to gym
You're
more
doing it.
consistently.
Absolutely.
So, and again, it could just be, I'm proud of
absolutely.
myself for that.
Now, you spoke about a leader that, was grateful and thanked you, the opposite of that is somebody who doesn't acknowledge and doesn't celebrate success. I was coaching somebody just yesterday. Sorry, I wasn't coaching her. She came to me for a chemistry call. We were having a bit of a chat to see if we could work together. And she's from a very big organisation, a very big, well-known Australian brand, a well-loved brand, and she's in the loyalty side of things. And she was saying it's really important that I get some coaching and here's my goals, which were fantastic. And I started asking her about, her leader and who she reports to and how that's going. And she said, this is a leader that doesn't give a lot. Yeah. So she's never sure how she's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
She said, and it's very different to me, how I lead. She said, because I'm definitely telling my team all the time what they're doing well, where they need support. And she said, so I'm sort of looking for an objective point of view and someone to bounce ideas off. So again, if you're a leader listening, whilst you don't need to be somebody who, celebrates your team not wetting their pants every 2 minutes, it is important to acknowledge. It is important to say to, different team members, that was great. More of that, please. Well done, you. And do it publicly. I love that.
All right.
Let him in. Let the man in.
Let the man in. Stephen's just
Come
walked
in, Steve. It's all right.
He's just walked into live
Come in.
podcasting, even though I said take the
Keeping it
basement
real.
stairs. Okay, so where were we before we were
So
rudely
the importance
interrupted?
of leaders celebrating success and giving acknowledgement and endorsement and doing that publicly. A slight twist on this. When I was running a team in one of the banks I worked for, one of those team members came to me, senior leader, and said, is it okay if I come in a bit late tomorrow morning? I'm going to bike the kids to school together. And I just wanted to do that for the boys. And I said, I love that so much. I think that is fantastic. Don't stop it just tomorrow morning. Do that more regularly. Just let me know if you're going to be a bit late. I then thought about it and thought there's other leaders in my team with children who probably aren't doing that, and that's okay. But I guarantee it's because they don't think they can.
Yeah.
So I sent out a very public email saying this particular leader will be a bit late tomorrow because this is what they're doing, and I think it's fantastic and we need more of this. Anyone else that wants to do the same, please do. So again, whilst I'm celebrating this guy's decision, I suppose, or choice more so than a success, but also making it really well known that I think that's a fantastic
That's the
thing to do.
behaviour you want to
That
see.
is, and those values I really
You see a
align
lot
to.
of organisations that encourage their employees to post about, when they're doing stuff
Yep.
like that. So, and it's almost like thanking their employee.
Yes,
It was
yes.
like, thanks to my employee, I'm able to work, we're holidaying down the beach for 2
Yeah.
days and I'm allowed to work, or
Yeah.
I'm picking up my kids from school or doing this. And because the organisation value that,
Yes.
they want to be known for that.
Yes.
And as opposed to just saying it, they're actually asking people to
Yes,
celebrate it
to celebrate
and
it.
share it.
Yeah. One of the best things I saw was when I was at Visa was we're going to celebrate this afternoon. We give out an award each bloody month for celebrations and success that had occurred within our Melbourne team. Yep. And we were doing a lot of stuff that was being used as sort of test for global. And it wasn't just we're going to celebrate Ronald because, he's helped us achieve X or we've experimented with Y. It was, Ronald, not only are we going to celebrate you, but we'd like you to share what it was you did and why you think you got that success.
Yeah,
So
nice.
others could learn from it.
Yeah.
And of course, Ronald gets prepared for this, so he knows he's going to be called out, given an award or given a voucher or something, but come prepared to explain why we got the success. What did you learn from it? So others can then adapt that.
Yeah.
And use it as well. So I think, again, there's always an opportunity to learn from other people's success if you're celebrating it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you got to start with celebrating it.
You do. Well, I think you've got to start with, like we've said before, it was like map your progress. If it's, be aware, like whether it's setting boundaries, acknowledge, because I think we beat ourselves up. So let's look at those setting boundaries. What we do very, very easily is go, oh my God, there's another week that I didn't go to Pilates 3 times a week.
Correct. So we start to
And we start to beat ourselves up where, like, that's fine to acknowledge when you didn't do it, but just as acknowledge when
you
it
did
do
do
it. When I run my presentation training, I often talk to people, if you want to get better at presenting, every single time you present, like walk out going what worked and what didn't, because and I say to them, do it every time, because what we're very good at going, oh my God, that didn't work, oh my God, I'm never doing that again, and it could be 1 in 100.
That's right.
When we haven't thought actually that worked well, and why did it work well?
The fact that you stood up and presented
Yeah.
is a success. Can I tell you that now? Because most people don't.
Yeah. And then when
So
you
that's a
do
good
that,
point.
like what worked, and sometimes they sort of go, and I speak to them later and they go, you said don't just rush into a meeting when you're going to present, like schedule half an hour
prepared.
before that meeting if you've and prepare. And they'll go, well, that actually really worked. So what it's doing, even though you're acknowledging the success yourself and, you're not expecting an award for it, it's encouraging that behaviour.
Yeah.
Okay, so that worked. I'm going to do that next time. So again,
Love it.
it's all about, to me, it's celebrating success isn't about the big rah, 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 which, you can do that.
Sure.
But
it's
it's
appropriate.
encouraging the behaviour in others and in yourself,
Agreed.
which I think is important.
So tips, keepers, as we wrap this one up, celebrating success, stop and ask yourself, have I celebrated something in the last week, 2 weeks that I have done that I'm pretty proud of?
Yeah.
If I haven't, why not?
Yeah.
Have I celebrated others? Have I encouraged others as a leader, as a parent, as a family member, community member? Recognise that actually it doesn't need to be a big deal. It might be celebrating the energy, the momentum, the learning, the effort, the progress. It doesn't. You don't have to wait for the 100th episode of your podcast to crack open the verve. Crack open the verve.
Have we got that? Keehlan, did you bring that?
Wear your matching green outfits. It doesn't have to be that big. It can be those small things because progress is an awesome thing.
Lane Beachley,
to
who
celebrate.
we interviewed
We love it. We love
on this
Lane.
podcast. If you haven't listened to that
She's fabulous.
episode, have a listen, go back. But she often talks about celebrating success. And I think that she said, she won 7 world titles. She said, I can't remember the second world title because I didn't celebrate it.
Wow.
And she even talked about one world title she celebrated by just sitting by herself having an ice cream. So it can be as simple
What a lovely thing
as
to do.
that.
Yeah.
Nice
one.
So I think
Nice one.
it's always good when we can take a leaf out of the Lane Beachley book.
Bored?
Yep, absolutely. Okay, keepers. So celebrate success. We're off to celebrate our success. We're going to have an ice cream.
No, we're not. We're having verve. Champagne.
Thank you for everyone that has supported us. We truly, truly do. For everyone that has sent us messages about how much you love the episode, for everyone who shared it. 2025, we're in Spotify's the top 3% of the most shared podcast, which is, that was pretty
proud.
Freaking amazing. That's
Pretty
something
proud.
to celebrate. As usual, 5-star rating keeps Keehlan happy.
Keeps him
and
employed.
if you got ideas you want us to cover, then go for it. We've got
Let us know.
a year ahead of exciting stuff coming your way. So we will see you next week.
Bye.